Hi, this is Beth with Divine Love Group. Thanks for joining us. Today I have Nannette joining in again, and we are here to talk to you just a little bit about jealousy and spiritual friendships. She and I have been through quite a journey together over the last almost 2 years now.
Mm.
But 2 years in these kinds of friendships and relationships can be a really long time in a good way. But we definitely, so we thought we'd get on just because I think this is something that probably comes up quite a bit when you first start um, really diving deep into your spiritual journey. I think it's something that most people tend to do. That it's almost hard to receive information and advice from other people, um, because you kind of go through this like almost like know-it-all stage. So Nanette and I just thought maybe we would get on, talk about our experiences and how we overcame them and how we came to have the fantastic friendship that we have now.
Yes, I think it's great. What do you want to start with? Our jealousy issues?
Yeah, so I mean, I honestly, I think it's very natural, like I said, once in a while that, oh, well, you have to work on this first, and oh, I already did that, and so these little things that people get defensive about, defensive reactions are always a good flag post for something that you need to work on, but
Hmm.
it takes a while to come to that conclusion, right? So you and I would go through these things, not always recognizing, as we do now in hindsight, that maybe we need to do it in a different order. Maybe, you're 15 steps ahead of me here, and I'm still at like step one and I'm like, I have no idea how to get there. And, in some other situation, we're the reverse. And I just think, like I said, when you're first starting out, I think it's a little bit of ego, it's a little bit of defensiveness, all of the red flags that we can put up that puts a big barrier into our friendship.
Yeah, and I think, I'm not talking about in just our case because I don't think this is untrue. I mean, I don't think this is true for our case, but in a lot of cases, you find yourself jealous of what the information that they've picked up, and sometimes you have to understand that it's just like the locker room chat, man. They have the hottest chick, and she does tricks, and she's flexible, and she can go all night long. And she said, you know what? You can call me anytime for a booty call. So you gotta kind of temper your jealousy around that kind of thing because you just don't know. You don't know. But as far as me and you are concerned, yeah, there is a lot of insecurity. I don't think our ego wasn't like sky high, it was sky low. And
Right.
so there was a lot of insecurity around uh what was going on and what we were getting. And I remember you know I didn't have the same kind of money that you had, so you would get these classes and stuff. And I remember being really jealous of that. She's getting classes and she can go get channeled to anytime, and I can't do that. So you would get all this information, and I just felt really left out in that sense.
Right.
Um,
And then you became, by default, this brilliant channel all on your own, just following your own inner guidance, which is pretty phenomenal, and we all just kind of went around it in different ways. And, at the time, I was jealous of the time that you had to dedicate to that, right? Because I was, single mom working like 40 plus hours a week and barely finding time to breathe. So I needed to pay for classes in order to find and dedicate the time to do the work I needed to do, or that I chose to do, I should say.
mhm.
So it's really funny, like the perspective that you take on it, because time to me was probably the most precious commodity. And in comparison, you had loads of it. Um, and
Oh,
it,
I did.
the grass is always greener on the other side, right?
Yeah, and in hindsight, if I'm being completely honest, and we don't have this jealousy anymore, I'm happy I had the time over the money. I really am, because like, let's go back to the classes that you took. I remember when I really started channeling really well, and I asked my guide, should I take this class? Which I don't know where I thought I was going to pull the money out of my butt. I don't know. And my guide said, no, I'll get you that stuff. You want that stuff? We'll go get that stuff. And I was like, hey, I love this. you know, because then I did everything for myself. And that's where you always want to end up. But when you're doing it, you're like, she she got to just go talk to so and so gave her this, and so gave her that, and what about me? I want this and that. You
Right.
know?
Right.
Yeah, it's true. Um, you know, and I think this is kind of important to talk about too when we're on the subject of jealousy. You know, you're going to grow some, and then you're going to get to a point where you are more self-sufficient. You're getting your stuff. What's the word I'm looking for? Your sovereignty. You're moving into your sovereignty, right? And you have to kind of, you know, stop stop talking in these groups or with these people because they just want to keep you back because of jealousy. You know what I mean? You have to be careful about this kind of thing. I feel in the spiritual world, you don't have to. You have free, you know, free will. But for me, it just kind of it holds you back from where you want to be. Do you agree or no?
I agree completely. And I think, I feel like we always end up talking in extremes. So that's one extreme. And on the other end of the extreme is just being spoon fed information, right? So sometimes in
Mm.
these classes, I was given information that almost felt too big for where I was at the moment. And so I resisted and made the
Mhm.
whole integration process much slower. Where had I just turned only to my guides, and mind you, I'm glad I did it the way I did it because I've learned this along the way, and I did not have the time at the time. So all
Mhm.
paths are good no matter who you are and where you're
Mhm.
going. If you're doing the stuff, then do the stuff. It's fantastic. But I think also people can give you information. Sometimes it's true and you're just not ready for it. Sometimes it's just flat out not true. And if you're early enough in the process, or even on down the road at some points, you're like, really? And then you come to find out that wasn't true at all. And it took me down some rabbit hole that I didn't need to go down, good or bad.
Distractions,
Yeah,
yes.
exactly. Distractions and stories. So I think both ends of the spectrum are really pretty strong. So
That's true. That's true.
yeah.
Yeah. The thing about it is, do you want to talk about where we are now and how what the huge difference and how that help? I mean, I think it would help people.
Without question. And you and I always, one of the good things though, before we get there though, is I know we talked about this in another video, but because you and I kind of had this like little bit of a competitive edge with each other, we used it for our advantage though. Even though we both felt it to some extent, you and I would test each other in good ways and say, because we have these feelings between us, and we were always very open about it. We talked about it. Let's get together and channel and challenge each other and use that
Hmm.
competitive edge for our own growth. And I don't know, I think that's a really important thing too. I think that was a huge foundation in our friendship, that we could turn something that could potentially and normally is viewed as pretty negative into something positive that helped us grow
Yeah.
together
I only
individually.
I only remember one time when I felt you really irritated with me. I remember one time you said
I'm good poker face.
she said, "Oh, I knew you were going to say that."
Sounds
I
like me.
said, like something like, I got that the other day. Oh, I knew you were gonna say that. I was like, oh my gosh. I was really being honest that time. I wasn't trying to one up you. I was just being honest. And I felt it. I felt it. And I was like, okay, this is the first time I ever really felt her get annoyed with me. But of course, with you and me, we understand. We're more compassionate about things. And I'm like, well, she'll get over it. It'll blow off. It'll roll off of us. Because we have this strong friendship. We had a foundation. Um,
And these are
I'm not.
triggers that we need to learn from, and we both recognize that in time. I don't think it was immediately, but not too far in, we recognize that we were completely triggering each other and that we needed to grow from that and look at ourselves.
Yes.
Instead of saying, well, if you would stop, it was more like, why is that bothering me so much? oh, because I'm not thinking highly enough of myself that I can make her think she can one up me. You know, it just, you start drilling down and getting into like the actual reason for the feelings.
And you have to do that. You what? I'm sorry.
That was the beginning of our healing process, you know, so that we were able to get to where we are.
And as long as you can do that, you're good, because, you know, a lesser person would have taken that from you and used it. Well, I guess I'm gonna one up her every week. We're gonna talk every week, and I'm gonna one the hell up her, you know. And that's just going the opposite way with your ego. So it is about healing. So I examined it too. I just want to point this out. I examined it too. Well, that pushed her buttons. And I really thought about it. Did I say that just to one up her? Well, I really didn't. I was kind of excited that we got the same thing. So I really I healed through that too, because instead of getting angry at you for being angry at me and going that way, you know, it's a maturity thing. You have to look at yourself in this game. You really, and it feels like a game half the time.
Well, it is, right? I mean, it absolutely is. Just
yeah, absolutely. But go on. You finish this thought.
I know. I feel we always end up having a giggle fest. I can't. I forget. I completely forget about the healing process. But I mean, it let us kind of move to where we were. Oh, and the other thing is, so, you know, we had the opportunity to one up each other and say, haha, and push each other's buttons intentionally. And again, on the opposite end of the spectrum, we could have walked away and said, you know, forget this. This relationship, like, I don't need this in my life. I'm walking away from it. It's easier to walk away. So instead of doing that, though, you know, you and I are both very big about facing our fears and facing like uncomfortable situations to push through and make sure that they become comfortable, because there really should not be any fear and there shouldn't be any uncomfortable situations. Of course, we still find them, and it just means you need to face them.
And sometimes we're so not afraid of them that we stay in them way too freaking long. Yes, you knew I was gonna run with that. We both have a tendency to stay in situations.
Just kidding.
No, you didn't. No, you really didn't. I knew, but you didn't. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, but well, we are both a little psychic, so no, but yeah, we have, and I don't think we're there anymore, but we have in the past stayed in those situations too long because we wanted to not have the fear. We wanted to walk through it, and finally you get to the point where you're like, I don't have to be in this situation at all. I deserve better than this. I deserve to have my own life and be happy about it. So I'm just gonna walk forward. Yeah.
And I think our friendship is a really good example when people talk about when you heal yourself, you start attracting, you know, people who are more like you. So you and I didn't need to walk away from each other because we grew together in very similar ways. You know, we have tons of differences and we have tons of similarities, but at the core, you know, we have a pretty similar belief system on many things because we've done so much of our work both together and similarly in many ways, that it's helped us get to now, and that we can have this conversation and talk about things that used to really kind of set us off. You know, we never really got angry, but at the same time, it, you know, flicks at you, it twinges.
Triggered.
Like, yeah. So, yeah. And now we're laughing about it and sharing it. People need to know.
But, and the truth is, with, as far as me and you are concerned, we do pretty much do the same things at the same time because we're kind of on the same track. So, and you know, I'm gonna let that thought go the other way because that's stupid. But yeah, we do pretty much kind of stay on the same track because we're just forward motion, forward. We, you know, no breaks. We don't give ourselves breaks. I'm not saying everyone has to do it that way, but we don't give ourselves breaks. We just move. No.
Even when I say I'm going to, I'm like, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to rest. You know what? Never mind. Go. Full force.
Oh, wait, you have an activation for me? Yeah. Oh. Yes, we love torture.
Mhm.
But, are you ready to talk about now?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, my thing about now, my thing that I want people who are just starting or in the midst of this path and haven't gotten here yet to understand is that when you get to the other side, when you get to this point, you don't really have jealousy of other people because I understand that Beth gets stuff that's for Beth and I get stuff that's for me. And if she gets something that I feel like, well, I kind of want that, well, I can get it anyway because I'm so well connected because I took the time to do it, right? And so it's okay. So what? You got this shining star above your head. I'm gonna get one too. Then I mean, who cares?
Yeah.
You know what
And
I mean?
sometimes too, it's the realization that you might get a piece of information and I might get a piece of information. And if we talk, they fit together so beautifully and make a very different, bigger picture. So if you just get
Like our
past,
energy work.
yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes. I
And
love our
it's
energy
amazing
work.
energy work that we balance really nicely off of each other, right? And then that is very feelings based, and she sees some and feels a lot. I feel, you know, some, but on these missions, it's more like I see a lot. So it's just like she and I work like very nicely in tandem together on that.
Hmm.
So it's really nice. We're I don't know. We always find these like puzzle pieces that go together that can help each other grow and then expand from there.
Yeah, and do our work. I love it. So, you know what I was just about to say? Does anyone have any questions? What am I?
I
I
mean, you
teach.
can leave
I teach
comments
too
and
much.
questions in the comments, and we can answer them.
Hello.
That's right.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Um,
Um,
but I think that this was important, and I think people have a choice. Either you grow together or you grow apart on these kinds of things with these friendships. And clearly, I'm really happy that we chose to grow together, and we have a really solid foundation on our friendship. That there's very few people that when I'm feeling a little unsteady or not quite clear, that I will reach out to and say, hey, can I talk to you about this? Can you help me see this clearly? And you're one of them, because
mhm.
I know who you are, you know who I am, and I know you'll give me a very truthful, unbiased, no holds barred opinion. And I respect that, and I love that about you.
Well, thank you. And yes, I'm the same. I think, you have to be selective though about who you ask these questions to too, though. And I think the similarity in who we are is helpful in these cases too. So, people will find people that they mesh with eventually in this journey, if not yeah, a lot of times in the beginning, I know I keep going back to this, but a lot of times in the beginning, we think, we have these people that are just like us, and you find out it's not necessarily true. But, it's the law of attraction, like attracts like. So you will be surrounded eventually, even if it's just a few people, by people who are like you, who you can trust. And it's great to have someone as backup. Sometimes you aren't sure, even though it's so funny because I know you're the same as me. You know, I know I hear perfectly. I know this, but I'll still be like, Beth, can you check on this for me?
Right. And we're both great healers, yet there are times that I reach out and you reach out and say, hey, can we do an exchange? Because I could use someone
Yeah,
else's energy, to help me through this a little bit faster. It's not that,
yeah,
either of us feels incapable or this or that, but why not get a helping hand?
that's true. That is true. Yes, I love it.
Yeah, me too.
And I love you.
I love you too. I hope this has helped some people know that they can definitely get through it. And yeah, like Nat said, if you have any questions or anything, we'll be happy to at least answer them in the comment section. So thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Hmm. I want what she's having.
Like, can you just take this and run? I'm just gonna sit back and like.
Hi, I'm Nannette, and that's Beth with, oh my God, Divine Love Group. I got it, see?
You did. Okay.
It's okay. We're just spreading joy.
I know.
And
I'm gonna end up cutting all this out. It's fine.
Okay. All right, start.
All right.
Don't make me throw up.
We're gonna have an outtake thing at the end.
Yeah, that's awesome. Laughter is contagious. It's perfect. You should put it on the end. Okay. All right. Wait. Let me try to stop creaking. I'm a little creaky. You're creepy, but I'm creaky. I don't know which one might be better.
I know. I'm like, which is worse?
Oh my God. Oh, this is great. Okay.
Here's my creaky friend Nannette.
Let's be zen.
I know. Once I start, it's so hard to stop. All right.
I love us. Oh God. Oh God. Okay. That's what she said.
Which part?
Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. Oh my God, I'm just not gonna look and I see you lose it. Like, fuck.
I'm
okay.
sorry. I'm
Like
sorry.
I started it 15 times already, like giggle fest. It's just not.
I'm trying to be serious.
I know.
Take a deep breath. It's a little less this time. We're getting there.